Hello guys, my name is Michal Hucko and welcome to another video of our Pandas tutorial. In this video we're gonna talk about iterating through the data frame, how to update the data frame iteratively and stuff like this. So let's jump right back into the Jupyter lab, and as you can see I'm working with the 8 file in the GitHub linked in the description below. So first of all I'm reading the data frame as always, and then as you can see in this time I'm reading only first 10 rows because it's like useful for us, and I'm also having only 7 columns because I want to have a smaller subset of the data frame for the purpose of this video, right? So I have the data frame in the variable called df, and then data frame provides you a method which is called iterRows. You can see it here in the next line. Please don't mind these 4 cycles right now, I will explain it later. So the df iterRows is returning something which is called the generator. Right, and generators are quite complicated stuff in the Python, and you can think about the generator as lists which are not like created right now. So the generator function can guarantee you that in the future when you call a next function upon this, we will return an element of the list. And when you will call next, you will get all the elements of the list or of the array of the iterator this time. It's called iterator, right? So how does it work? So for example, you want the element, one of the elements of the iterator or the generator in this time. So you call a next upon this iterator object, and when you run the temp, you will see that it's returning a tuple where the first element of the tuple is index of the data frame. In this case, it's 0 because we have like 10 of them, and first is 0. And then is the value of the row of the data frame as a series. So the second element of this temp is a series object, right? So if you like put here the type, and you see this is a tuple, and if you go like series 1 is int, 0 is int, and series 1 is pandas core series, right? So the way how you're gonna iterate through this data frame and read the data frame, for example, is that you gonna go in the for cycle and you will assign the index into one variable, so the first part of the tuple, and the second part of the tuple to the row variable, and then you're gonna just print it like this. So I'm not printing the row because it's a series, I'm just printing the type, and as you can see the output is index is 0 and row is this, and so on and so on. As you can see, it's quite simple, like iterating through the pandas data frame is very simple. Now, what you can do when you have this row, you can access the element with the dot notation, and that's the thing I'm doing here. So I'm accessing the row part of the tuple, and then I'm accessing the MS subclass from it, from the first column, because in the temp is the first one, right? Which I did above. You can access the index there, right? So index in this case is this left part of the series, right? So when you call an index upon the row value, you are not getting the integer value because that's in the first value of the tuple, right? In this case, you are getting the index value of the series, which are the name of the columns, right? So this is quite simple. If you want to access the names of the columns inside the iterRows, you need to access the indexed value of the row, right? Pause this sentence which I said, go through it one more time, and that's the reason why the index in this case is not the index, but it's the name of the columns, right? So then you can also iter items, which is opposite of iterRows, but this time you are iterating through the columns. This can be sometimes handy. Please feel free to test it on your own. This time the index is the name of the column, and the first value of the tuple is the name of the column, right? Is the name of the index, and then the first value is the name of the column, right? As I said. You can also update the data frame in here, but this can be quite tricky. So you need to use the log because you want to refer to original data frame, where you provide the index because we are iterating through the rows. The index is the index within the data frame, and then you specify the column which you want to update. So for example, if you want to update the ID of all of them, you specify here index. If you want only the first one, you put there the if index equals 0, blah blah blah. You know the rule, you know the routine. It's quite simple, it's quite easy. So using these iterRows and iter items gives you the flexibility to update the whole data frame in one cycle, right? So, but beware when you are working with big data like millions and 100 millions of rows. In Pandas, this iterating update can be quite like slow. So please make it as efficient as possible. I can give you some good hints how to do it in the future videos, but just keep in mind that having many rows and iterating through each of the row can be very time and memory complex, so just make your algorithms as effective as possible, right? You say, well, Michal, it's easy said, but hard to do, right? But how? The answer for you is like practice. You need to practice a lot. You need to play with these data frames, and then you will get routine, and you will be happy that how an awesome data scientist you are. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope I will see you in the next one.